Recording.
Hello everyone, so a few months ago I made a video showing my DR650, saying I was planning on taking a trip down to Tierra del Fuego, and I still am planning on doing that, and it's like the long-awaited follow-up. I've also made a post on ADV Rider showing everything I've done, so I'll probably link that down in the description, so it'll be an easier way to follow along with everything that I did. But I just thought I'd show off the mods that I've done. I got mostly everything done, maybe there's one or two things I want to do. But let's see, to start, I'm going to show you up by the handlebars. So I got the Pro Taper CR High Bend, along with heated grips. And I've got Pro Taper speedometer. It's really nice. I'll be able to see the engine tap, my RPMs, and a voltmeter. Also got a USB I still haven't mounted yet, but I'll get to that. Then, of course, got the windscreen. I got the JNS LED headlights. I've gone ahead and converted all my lights over to LED. Check out the same ones in the back. These are, I think, TSF. That was a brand. I went ahead and did that. And of course, you know the big Cherubi's tank, 6.6 gallons, which I think is great. Haven't had any complaints with. Also, I set it up so I got the petcock on the other side too. I went ahead and put in a gas filter, which kind of looks awkward the way I did it. I might go ahead and clean it up and see if there's an easier way to do it, but it's been functional so far. Then, of course, I got the Cherubi's skid plate. I figure if it's good enough for your tank, it'll be good enough to protect your engine, along with the side protecting. I don't know whatever you would call it, frame guard, yeah. Then I redid the suspension too. So I got the 7.6 rear shock from Cogent. I got the one with the adjust, so you could adjust the sag in the back, which that's kind of how I did that. It was kind of awkward trying to mount it. There's not very much you can put on this bike. And then I also got this Pelican case. So this is the 1550. I wanted to get like the biggest size I could that would still look normal. I thought this was a good size. Kind of see the space I got back in here. Sometimes this falls down. But yeah, I got all the space. I just have a battery charger back here, a few things, but I'll probably make better use of it in the future. And how I mounted it, I just took some U-bolts, screwed them into the rear rack that I have there, and I don't know, so a little, moves out a little bit. I might want to try and put some rubber there to try and keep it from vibrating very much, but so far it's been staying on good. No problems with it. And then I know my last video, I got these racks for sale for like 30 bucks, and they're the older style from Dirt Racks. So I went and called them up, and I got a crossbar that would fit it. Though they weren't so sure if it would work or not, but it worked out. Managed to get it to go on good. And then, yeah, I got the Wolfman saddlebags. So I got the older style. I found these for sale too. And so far, I'm pretty impressed. You can really put a lot of stuff in there. I got some stuff in there right now just to see how it would pack. I got a bit of camping stuff in one, some clothing in the other one, just kind of add some weight, see what it feel like. And I also got the center stand, which I think works okay. It works the rear tire a little bit off the ground. But what I wish it had is I wish that it had a spot where I could put my weight down and I can push the bike up, just like the one I have on the V-Strom over there. Because otherwise I feel like you really got to wrestle the bike to get it up. But it works. Let's see, the other side of the bike. Yeah, I got the oil cooler guard. I've got, Pro Cycle, Lord foot pegs. They've worked out good so far. Stretched my legs a bit more. Let's see. Yeah, there's the other petcock that I have. So I suppose I could show you. Oh yeah, I got for my front suspension. That's I think it's 0.52. Trying to remember. Go ahead and show off my electric job, my sergeant seat. So I think it looks decent compared to how much of a mess it could be. But I got a Eastern Beaver fuse block, which I thought was a little bit overkill. I thought it would tidy up the wiring a little bit, especially when you got stuff that already has fuses along in the line. So you already have a fuse here, and you have another one there. I don't know if it makes much sense or not, but still I think it cleans it up a little bit. And I got another filter for that. You can see the diode that I got. That's from TCF2. It made it really easy. And yeah, I upgraded my stator to a 250 watt stator. And I also made a mistake when I first installed it. I had to actually get another one. I installed it incorrectly. And what was happening is my battery would be draining down, and I was thinking, oh, why is my battery dying? What's draining it? And I ended up testing it. So I take this right here, and I'd see if it would have ground, and I was getting ground when I tested it with my tester. And so I take the case apart, and I found out that I had a short just because of how I installed it. But I could show you a picture of that later if you're curious to see how I messed things up. But yeah, so far now, since I reinstalled it, no problems. So I suppose another thing that would be interesting, I stripped the bike all the way down to the frame when I did everything. Reinstalled it. Kind of gave it a fresh coat of paint. Ground off all the rust. Okay. So I suppose now take it for a ride and show you how everything works, what I think of it. Yep, so that's a lot better with my voltage compared to what I was getting. It was before it was sitting around 12.3 and just going down, and of course that's no fun. And of course get RPMs around idle, it's getting around 1400, 1500. Engine temp at the oil cooler, which I really appreciate. Okay. Yeah, I'll take pretty much the same route that I took in the last video, which was a long time ago. Which I can't remember how the bike used to handle, but right now, just from what I can tell you, with the new suspension, it just feels so much firmer. Like before, I feel like you sit on and the bike would just go and sag down. And now it's like it actually wants to hold my weight, even with some gear in the back and my saddlebags, which is really nice. And what else? I think the windscreen, I don't know, makes a bit of a difference, but I still think it looks kind of cool. Yeah, my speedometer, I'm getting right around 30 right now, which I think is pretty accurate. But I suppose another thing to talk about, I kept the carb stock along with the exhaust. I mean, I could have gotten another one. I know it would have been nice to shed the weight with the exhaust, but I think the power is okay, and when you're at higher altitudes, I hear the stock carb does just fine. And my goal was just to make a bike that'll be really easy to work on, really reliable. Power's kind of like a second thing that I would have thought about, but I'm just going to keep it how it is for now. Yeah, so right now I got I think it's called the pilot screw that you do. I got it turned out at like at least 1 1/4. That's kind of where I found where the bike's happy. Yeah, another thing about this tank, I got it kind of full right now. It does, I know a lot of people probably said this too, but it does impact handling a little bit when it's full up. Alright, good. So on the highway? Yeah, it's a lot more bearable, I think. I think this big tank almost acts like a fairing a little bit to block the wind. I could be wrong. I feel like it's a lot more bearable. Even the suspension and on the street, I think it works out a lot better. So 5th gear right now. Yeah, but to talk about the trip, I know I'm planning on leaving late September, early October. And I got one other friend I'm going to go and do it with, and I don't know if I'm going to document it or not, like with vlogs, and because it already feels like work when you have to do this and think about stuff, have your try and think about videos and how to record. And I kind of hate having to talk to myself and listen to it too. It's kind of awkward, but I suppose you get better at it. So I'll probably do the same thing as I did on ADV Rider, where I documented building this bike. I'll probably just have like a diary or a journal, write down posts on where I'm going, where we've been, kind of everything, kind of our thoughts, I guess. But so far, am I happy with the bike? I'd say I am. It's, how much I spent and put into it. Maybe I'll put a cost on everything too, but it definitely adds up. I mean, it's still cheaper than getting like a KTM, but I don't know, just for something for you to do. Have a bike that's your own, you can call your own, you've done it, and know how to work on. Especially if you're going to do a trip like I am, it's good to know how to work on the bike, which I think is a huge advantage. To be able to fix things your own, yourself, versus a KTM, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like those newer bikes are more computer than anything, and you gotta get a code reader, and I could be wrong. I never owned a KTM or a BMW. Yeah, other than that, it's a really nice day. It's been a nice 70s here. Alright, so I'll go back around, and there's this dirt kind of off-road I like to do. It's kind of the closest thing that I can kind of test it on. I know the last time I went down in a little bit and we got a lot of rain, it was all muddy. I only made it down a little bit and I turned back. But I'll show you how this bike handles a little bit off-road. And a reminder, I'm not the greatest off-road, so what you see is I'm like an average guy. Alright, so this is the road, which obviously so far handles a lot better. And I could go faster, but I know there's a little bit of mud down here I gotta be careful on. I should probably talk about my tires too. Like right here, you can slide out pretty easy if you're not careful. Alright, speed up a little more. Yeah, roads like this, it just feels like it's in its element. It does really well. It doesn't buck me around, doesn't want to try and buck me off. It doesn't bounce around like a pogo stick. And for my tires, I got, I think it's a Kenda. It's more of like a 90-10 tire. More for street, which does okay on just like this. And of course the front, I got the trail wing, or people call them death wings, or the stock tire, which again, it does okay. So I'm kind of in between 3 sets of tires right now. I thought getting the Shinko 700s Otherwise, I thought about the Heidenau K60, and the last one would be the Midas E07, or the Continental TK80s. So far, I'm kind of leaning towards Shinko 700s. I hear it's supposed to do well on bikes like this. Otherwise, like the Heidenau K60s, I'll probably do some more research, see what other people have to say. But yeah, that's the off-road test, so 2 thumbs up. Alright, so I'm back home. Sorry about that. Neighbor passed me. We got to talking and kind of want to include that, but yeah, last impression. No, I think it's a great bike that'll do the job. Yeah, I'm happy with it. And do I feel any better if I were to buy a KLR or something, or a new one, or a BMW? I think I feel better with this bike than one of those, so yeah, thanks for watching.